everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are doing movie number 3 with Peter Boyle, because it's Peter Boyle week. And actually, out of the 3 movies we've seen, even the Frankenstein movie, which I had seen several times a million years ago, this was probably the best movie of the 3, because unlike the other 2, he may have done a okay performance in the Frankenstein movie, and the first one is blah, because I don't think there was anybody who had a standout performance in that. I don't care who they were. This one, he actually had a humongous part, and with a lot of character, and well, anyway, we'll get into it now. He's a it does start out a little bit with him, but it switches over to the other main character, who I think his last name is McDermott. He's been, Marco said he's been on Dark Shadows, and I've seen him on other, playing short stints in other TV shows. This movie was made, it's called Joe, which is a very simple title, 3 letters, and it was made in 1970. And it's about this guy, mother and father, who have a daughter, and she's
a loser.
She's a young girl who, this is 1970s, this is the end of the hippie generation, and it kind of filters into the 70s.
She's
somewhat.
A loser with a loser boyfriend.
Her boyfriend sells drugs, and uses them as well.
He wants to give it up so that he can paint.
Yeah, whatever. And he is bad. And I think he was actually selling vitamins and telling people that they were drugs. So he wasn't just selling drugs, he was selling nothing and pretending like they were something. So
Safi, let's be honest. The first thing that stands out about this movie is, okay, were you paying attention in the beginning? Because you'd have to actually be watching it to know what stands out.
Okay, Marco, you want to start the review? Go right ahead.
Well, no, I want.
Yeah, I was. He's talking about Peter Boyle.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the boyfriend.
What about the boyfriend?
The boyfriend. Oh my God,
he's
Safi,
using heroin.
He is taking a bath, and oh my God, Safi, he had the worst back knee I've ever seen. And the first time I saw it, I wanted to throw up. I was like, God, he really needs some help. He needs a lot more than a bath, because it looks so painful and uncomfortable.
Okay, I don't know what this got to do with the movie.
Back knee, because it stands out like the first, whenever you see movies, you never see any characters with back knee.
No.
Back acne. And so this was really, it stands out to me because of that. And I can't even eat while I watched that scene, because it's so gross looking.
I guess I was measuring a package or something and missed that part.
And then I think she comes behind him and she's gonna massage him, and I almost puked, because just thinking, making that poor actress have to massage it's like a scene out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But that's what stood out to me.
Okay, well, this was also Susan Sarandon. She played the young girl who's the daughter of this couple, and they're, upper middle class. They're not wealthy, though, because he said he made $60,000 a year, and that ain't wealthy, and it wasn't wealthy back in 1960. Or 70, sorry. But anyway, this was her first movie role, and so she is recognizable, but her hair is a lot redder, and it's very, very long, and anyway, she's very young, and it's interesting. I didn't realize that this was her first movie. But so you have them, and the parents aren't thrilled with the boyfriend, of course, or their daughter hanging around him, and because of his drug use, and they just want her away from him. And then you have Peter Boyle. He's a completely different individual, doesn't have anything to do with these people. He and his wife, he's a blue-collar person. I'm not sure, what was his job?
He's like some sort of a factory worker where he like dips things in a furnace or something.
Yeah, I wasn't sure understanding too well about what his work was, but he said he made $4 an hour, and he said, now this is 1970, I can't really live on that. So, okay, people, that's in 1970. Somebody's saying that. So I just wanted to point that out, but I thought that was interesting. But he lives in an apartment, looks like, with his wife, and Marco said that they said they had a son. I didn't hear that.
And he could not get into college because of the racist affirmative action program.
Yes, this guy was very outspoken, Peter Boyle.
Well, no, let's just talk about, okay, so the dad of Susan Sarandon, he goes into the apartment, and automatically he's thrown for a loop because for some reason, really bizarre, she has a poster of her and her boyfriend naked on their wall.
It was a very artsy poster, though.
Very, very bizarre. And he, I'm sorry,
I don't know
Safi,
who took
but
the picture,
that's
though, because he didn't.
weird. So, do you think Kim Kardashian has pictures of her sex tape in her house hanging all over?
I don't know.
I don't think
wouldn't
so,
put it
Safi.
past her.
I don't think so. And so
She has pictures of her butt because it's insured.
she doesn't have that either. But then he tears it down. He's already upset. Then the boyfriend comes home. He looks like a pirate. He's got like this long hair and this hat. And
I like the hat. I thought the hat was cool.
But the way that he just looks like a total, like someone you'd see on the street and you'd be like, okay, let's stay away from him because he looks dangerous.
He looked like back in the 1970.
Well,
it didn't bother me.
Oh, okay,
I remember.
Safi, because I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know. I would
in high school.
Stay far away from people like him.
Well, let's say though you missed a step though. I think the daughter
he gave some drugums to the daughter, and
it was too much for her.
She had a fit and she went crazy, and
she practically overdosed, but I don't think she had an overdose, but she was close to it. And so she's been in a hospital.
And the
so dad's upset about that
he's
to begin with.
He's going to the apartment to get clothing for her so that she can go to a rehab facility.
Right.
Which probably won't do anything for her.
Which I don't know if she needs rehabbing. She didn't seem like she was an addict. But
and then the boyfriend comes back and they have a little tiff, and he accidentally kills the boyfriend by pushing him against the wall.
And then he's knocking him on the ground and just constantly knocking into his head, I guess.
He's
like,
uh-oh. And then he goes to a bar to have a drink. And that's when he sees that there's this really odd-looking guy with a head that looks like a hard-boiled egg. And, he's just sitting there going, Edward, 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 Edward! Edward, Edward, Edward! And he's just doing that over and over and over again. It's hilarious. He's just, he's going on like a rant.
Yeah, but didn't he talk about how young people...
Yeah,
they don't have any respect.
He's just going on all these rants about, like, just random things, but a lot of it centers around black people, because he's racist, and he's, he looks like someone you wouldn't want to talk to either, because he had, like, his chin was all wet. He had beard, just like his wet chin, because he's drinking so much, and he doesn't even know what he's talking about, and for mostly, the thing about the affirmative action with the college was, that was true. But everything else mostly was just, bullshit that is just... but then the dad accidentally brags that he just got back from killing a hippie. And then Peter Boyle's like, "Oh, really?"
He lights up and he's like, "Wow, I've got a friend and mine." And he actually bought him a drink.
Yeah, he bought him and
Did he buy him a beer? I don't.
It was just another of what he was having, so it was probably another.
Or something on the rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then throughout the movie, they basically become friends and they bond, even though they're both from different backgrounds. They sort of both have the same views. And so it's really showing the contrast between the two and how even though they're in different classes, they're both sort of the same, and what that inevitably leads to when the daughter goes missing and they go on a search for her.
The daughter finds out that her father killed her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because she heard him say it. What happened was she didn't know he died, and she was going to be getting out of wherever she was pretty soon because she's recovered. And her friend came to see her, and she mentioned to her, asked about her boyfriend, and the girl looked horrified and told her, and then she left the place, and she was supposed to, she wasn't ready to be checked out, but she just left. And then she went home and she overheard her parents talking about the guy at the bar and talking about the boyfriend, and then her father said something which indicated that he killed the boyfriend, and so she ran away.
Yeah, and so shit goes on from there. And now, Safi, what did you think? Because this movie, it's a 70s movie, you can tell.
But it's on the crux of 60s and 70s.
Well, I mean, if you just showed they would immediately know. This is a 70s movie.
There's a sound about them.
They're all very raw and crude and
it has an echo.
Grungy.
Yeah, there's always, it seems dirty, it's always kind of polluted. The sound quality is like tinny or echoey or something. And the music's similar, although they play some bizarre song at the beginning. I almost threw up. He's talking about back acne or something. I thought the music at the beginning was awful. Now, the one at the end was kind of more appropriate.
It looked painful. It looked like
the music was painful to listen to.
The back knee, because I've had back knee that's mostly gone away. But his looked like really reddish, like it hurts, and like the ugh. And then she's like going near him, and she gets in the tub with it, like ugh. Like that would make Monk throw up, Monk.
Yeah.
He'd be like ugh. But this movie, the first time I watched it in, I think 2018 or 2019. I did not like it because I thought that Peter Boyle was the best part, and I didn't like how the movie centered around the stupid story with the daughter and the father, and yep. I didn't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah, but they actually, I thought, and this was the first time I'd ever seen the movie, I'd never even heard of it, and I thought they shared equal footing in the movie.
Ugh.
And because it would switch like back and forth. It didn't necessarily focus on the father. They did a little bit more focus maybe because Peter Boyle was going to help him find her at the end when they were looking for her.
Well, see,
so
that's...
he was with him. I mean, so it was one and then the other, and then they came together, and then it was one and then the other, and then they came together. It would switch back and forth. And in the end, they came together, and they went on this little joyride, which turned into a murder spree.
Well, that's the thing, is I think that the last act is the best part of the movie, where they're together and they're looking for the daughter. They're going to all these weird places. Like, there's a place, and they're like, we only serve food that, what's it to do with the universe or something? And
One with the universe.
yeah, and then Peter Boyle's like, this is Jap food.
Well, it was just Japanese food, and I don't know what the one with the universe or whatever. That wasn't exactly what he said. This is the waiter, but they didn't serve alcohol, and he was looking to have some alcohol, and which is funny because the Japanese do drink sake. I mean, if they didn't drink anything else, they have sake, but they also drink beer. I mean, I watch Japanese Girl all the time on YouTube, and they eat everything, so I don't know that was back in 70.
They go to all these weird places, and they go on adventures.
Because they're looking for places she might be, hang out. That's why.
To me, that was the best part of the movie.
I thought that was really good, too.
It was very fun, and it was very interesting because, it's hard to, you can't really talk about the character of Joe and whether you agree or disagree with him, because if you say that you agree with anything that he says or any part of his character, then you'll just get accused of being a racist.
Well, I just thought, I appreciate the fact that he was just himself.
Yeah.
And he wasn't being pretentious and trying to be somebody he wasn't, or say things that he wouldn't say. I would rather prefer him to say what he means and not pretend and be two-faced like we've seen for the last few years. Somebody come right out and say what they are, what they think, what they're going to do, and that's that.
He felt like a real person.
Yeah, he did.
Who, he seemed like a lot more real than the hippies, because the hippies are just like...
Well, they're testing the waters.
They're fake.
Well, yeah, but they're just also testing the waters, and then, you have these... Well, maybe it's really just one, but then he convinced his people to steal their wallets. And, so really they were just ordinary thieves.
Yeah.
They weren't getting high and having sex and being free spirits. They were also thieving. And so that's what Marco means, that they were fakes. Fake hippies.
It's just hard to really analyze, because on one hand, it's like, who's the good guy? Because you have Joe, and he's got some evil qualities to him, like with him and his wife and stuff like that. And, you can tell he's an evil person, an evil character, or at least someone who could be, as he becomes in the end. But then on the other hand, the hippies are not good either. So it's like, who's the good guy, and what's the meaning?
I just thought of as they're both making mistakes. And Peter Boyle does a little thing. He shows the other guy, it's funny we don't even remember his name.
No.
He shows him his gun collection, and that really surprised me, because not that back then somebody didn't own a gun or two. That didn't surprise me. It was the fact that he says he makes $4 an hour, and he had every gun on the planet. He showed him. He had handguns. He had all kinds of stuff. I don't know if he had like a machine gun, automatic, whatever, that shoots off multiple rounds. I don't know if you could get those back then. I'm sure you could, but not like today. Anyway, but still, he had multiple guns, which cost money, and he only makes $4 an hour, which, I don't know. I thought that was not right, but the fact, anyway, a fact. But so you wonder if that's going to come into play, because why would they do that? Why would he show him those guns? Yeah, well, he did say something about going hunting. He asked him if he wanted to go hunting. So he said he shot a deer, I believe.
Well, he had the deer head, didn't you see?
No, I didn't see that.
In the basement, he had it looked like a very 1950s style basement room where everything is red and guns and
ugly,
crap and
ugly decor.
it just
60s decor.
makes you think it smells like cigarettes or something.
Yeah,
but
they didn't smoke, I don't think.
Overall, I really think that the whole movie should have been. I did not like the plot structure. I don't care. Safi loved it. I don't care.
I don't know. I just thought that they shared. It's just the way that they focus on one, they focus on the other, they come together, then they focus on one, then they focus on the other, and then they came together in the end.
I didn't like that. I wanted the movie to maybe like you could have like 30 minutes of going back and forth, and then after that the rest of the hour and a half is them together, because it reminded me a lot of like Adventures in Babysitting, with them going around the city and everything, these weird places, and encountering these weird characters. And I wish that was the whole movie. And I also think that there was like a message there that like be careful about who you interact with when you're in a bar, because he's just a random guy in a random bar, and he's sitting there all by himself, and anything could have happened. He could have been any type of person. And so I think that there was a more interesting story there than what they actually wrote. And I think that the movie, instead of it spun its wheels a lot. Like a lot of the movie is just Joe talking to the other guy, and he's like, I don't like these N-words, and I don't like these young people. And then Bill is like, I know, they're all very retarded. And like that's like a lot of the movie, Safi.
Yeah, well, he didn't say anything about being retarded, but he did agree with him.
Well, I'm just paraphrasing. So, did you like the movie, Safi?
I actually liked the movie, although the ending was shocking, because I felt like we had jumped to 2022. And that was bizarre. And back in 1970, those kinds of things don't happen. It didn't happen. Not that I recall. I could be totally wrong. But I was in high school then, and I don't remember anything like that happening. Now, I do remember Charles Manson, but I think that was lots of stabbing and blood all over the wall.
He did have Taxi Driver, where at the end he kills all those, which in that movie they deserved it. In this movie they did not really deserve. I would say though that maybe it would have been acceptable for me if he just shot him like in the foot or something, because he was running away with their credit cards and
wallets,
of everything that they have, and and so sorry, but it's their property.
He doesn't have the right to kill everybody.
Well, he shouldn't have killed anybody, but it would have been. I said to shoot him in the foot, or something like that.
He could have done that because wasn't he? He said he was in the military, right?
Yeah.
So he would have learned stuff like that.
And you could also tell there was an undertone of the military affecting him, because at the end of the movie, they're talking about war. And they're basically treating it like war, and so he's basically like the dad from King of the Hill. The grandfather. He's a lot like a younger version of him. So I kind of like the movie. I kind of don't. It's very grungy and 70s, and it's not very like I don't have the urge to like rewatch it.
No, I don't either. I don't like that killing.
But I would say that Peter Boyle's performance was really good. It was the standout of the movie.
And that's why we wanted to watch, devote a week to him, because we had seen his outstanding, award-winning performance on The X-Files, and we were very impressed. And we thought, well, he's dead now. We thought, why not devote an entire week? Who does that? We do. So we did. And I thought we were rewarded, because the other two, that Frankenstein, everybody knows that one, and as
overrated.
Well, maybe. It's just the reason why it's good is just because they have all those actors that came together. It's kind of like a, what do you call it?
Ensemble movie.
Well, yeah, it was an ensemble movie, a cult classic, kind of like that.
Oh, an overrated cult classic.
The other one, the first one, was not good.
The Friends of Eddie Coyle was trash.
Even Robert Mitchum would probably have agreed with that. He was
know.
in a lot of fine movies, so, which I can't name, but
He was in the original Cape Fear, which I haven't seen.
oh yeah, I've seen it.
I'd kind of like to watch it, but not really, because I hated the remake.
I don't like Cape Fear. I don't like that.
The remake is even worse.
I think they have a really cool lighthouse there too. Anyway,
so what's your food review, Safi? What's your food rating?
Well, I
for
was
Joe?
thinking we were living in Rock Island, Illinois one year doing research on Alcoholics Anonymous, and we hung out with the blue collar family the whole time because the father was from Missouri and I'm from Missouri, and that helped when you do anthropological field work, you try to find people that you can help you enter the community and talk to people and help you understand what's going on, and it's more helpful to have that in doing your research than not knowing anybody and they don't know you. You're a stranger and people keep things from you. If you're more of the community and you know somebody, you're more likely to learn more. So anyway, aside from that, we'd ate out every week, I remember, every Friday night, and I'll just give it a really good cheeseburger with a Coke, because he wasn't alcoholic, so he didn't drink, and so, probably an iced tea. A cheeseburger and iced tea and fries, and really good, which I don't know if you can even get that, a good cheeseburger and fries. Maybe you can at a better restaurant, but lately I don't think I would like any of the cheeseburgers even compare that to anything that I ate back then in the 80s. And anyway, that's what, because it's really a blue collar thing, because the other guy, he made $60,000. They acted like he was wealthy, which he wasn't, but they acted like he kind of more bent down to be part of Peter Boyle's world. And so I kind of leaned towards the blue collar thing, and that's why I gave it that cheeseburger. And because I remember when we had a lot of fun with them. We went out every week. We did all kinds of things with them. Went shopping with them. Had birthday parties with them. We did everything with them. Went bowling with them. Everything.
Safi,
It was fun.
did you like seeing Peter Boyle naked in this movie?
Peter Boyle got naked and
That was
had
pretty
sex with two girls. And they didn't show anything really, but it was just interesting. And he also smoked dope, which I
That was the
don't
weird
remember
part.
him doing marijuana back then with a hookah. I could be wrong, but I thought that would be hash.
That was the weird part, was that like they were starting to do these things that they're ranting about all the time.
Yeah. Well, they were, but I think that the guy who made the most money, he said, well, why not, and kind of I agree, because you're ranting about something you really know nothing about. And he didn't know anything about those kids. He didn't know about the drugs.
They kind of discovered it was kind of bad, because
they stole their wallets.
It was all just a smokescreen to do that.
Right.
And so it's like, well, that's not good at all.
Right. And so their eyes were opened very fast about them. Yeah, well, I think they were smoking hash. Which I think I'm not sure even, because I've never done anything like that. But back then, though, I don't remember hearing people smoking marijuana with a hookah. So I could be wrong, but I think it was hash.
They should make a Joe Bean Boozled, where it tastes like beer.
Oh.
And then you have a Backney Bean Boozled bean that tastes like Backney. Okay. My review is, I was thinking along the same lines of like a junkie dinner not like junky in terms of drugs, but like junk food. And I was thinking, well, Joe, ... what about sloppy Joes? And I was thinking, a classic sloppy Joe made on the stove with some mac and cheese and some green beans and like maybe like a soda or something.
That sounds good.
Because it's a good dinner, but it's not something you want to eat all the time, and it's not that good for you. But it's a tasty dinner, and it's a nice little meal. It's just not something that is really transformative or elevating anything. Because it has all these ideas, but to me there wasn't really any clear meaning. Like there wasn't any explanation or answers to any of the ideas. It was just raising all of these questions and not answering them. Like they show some bad hippies, and it's like, what am I supposed to take from this? Like what's the message I'm supposed to take other than don't talk to random people at bars? So that's what I'd give it, Safi.
Okay, well, sounds good. So yesterday I forgot to tell everybody, if you like this video, please press the like button. If you would like to be one of our subscribers, we welcome you with open arms, and you make all the comments in the world. What? Well, I just wanted to make sure I said that and didn't forget.
Oh, I know. Since last video, you're like, fuck it. You're like, Marco, you can put it in editing. That's what she said. She's like, Marco, you can edit it in.
Well, people will, other YouTubers will do writing on the video, on a piece of the video, make it a little like an animated thing that lasts about 2 seconds, and put that on while you watch it. So I've seen that. So
I think that the next video will be tomorrow. The next video, I watched another movie last night called Rebel Without a Cause.
Oh, yeah.
And I will be doing a rant video about that garbage movie.
Is that the old
for
movie
tomorrow?
Then?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, cool.
That was terrible.
Really?
Did you see that one?
I've never seen that.
Ugh.
I've heard about it.
What a terrible trash movie. I can't wait to talk about that. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.